want you to imagine the scenario with me. Close your eyes and just think. It's 2020, April. Due to the stuff going on around the world, your school is now shut for the rest of the year. You don't know when you're going to see your friends again. And while you're at home, while you're at home, you realize that you look like a fucking degenerate. You have man boobs. You have a massive belly. All you do is play video games over Discord with your friends. And all of a sudden, one friend comes along and he starts telling you about a diet that he's on. This was the beginning of my journey. This is what my life looked like approximately 2-3 years ago. And that was the changing moment in my life where I kind of decided to shape my own path. In 2020, I was about 260 pounds, which is a little, I think, 120 kilograms. I was about 40% body fat. And I just looked horrendous, at least relatively. I did not used to garner any attention from people in general. People would not take me very seriously. I always used to find myself trying to change myself to fit into a certain group, into a certain friend circle, and it always deviated from my authentic self, which I'm now comfortable enough to share on the internet. And all in all, that was a very sad feeling to face. And it was only then when my friend over Discord mentioned going on this ketogenic diet that he was on. And that caught my attention for 2 reasons. Number one, I was a fat fuck, right? And when my friend tells me that all he does is eat cheese and fatty foods, and that's how it works, and all these delicious, you can eat cream cheese, it sounds very appealing to me, right? But the second reason why was because he told me from his own experiences that he lost a lot of weight in a very healthy manner through this diet. So you're telling me that I can eat all this amazing food, amazing stuff, and I can lose weight. That was one of the most craziest things I had heard all year that year. And to my surprise, I gave it a shot. I researched a lot into the ketogenic diet. I took progress pictures of myself every day for a whole month. And that was kind of my small term goal, to stick to this diet for at least 1 month and to stick to the ketogenic diet, that is. I started this journey, and in the beginning, everything's all fun and games. It is super easy for me to eat the foods I love anyways, right? Cheese, cream cheese, fatty meats, salads with a lot of fatty sauces on them, and pretty much just a high-fat diet. The ketogenic diet is a high-fat diet with very low carbs and moderate amounts of protein. So what it does is it starts to convert your body's mechanisms into using ketones for fuel rather than glucose and glycogen. And it made complete sense to me to do this. I took it to the extreme where I completely cut out all the carbs I was having from my diet. I'm from an Indian household, And for those of you that may not know, our diets are some of the most carb rich diets that you will ever come across. I'm used to eating my rice, I'm used to eating my rotis, I'm used to eating my parathas, everything. And one day, my delusional self just decides none of that for a whole month. And for some of you, that may come off as very, very extreme, which I understand completely. But I also do believe that if you want to make extreme amounts of progress in any field, you kind of have to take things to to the limits of what you can handle. And it definitely gave me a good bit of leverage to find that limit for myself. I stuck to the diet for about a month, and I lost a considerable amount of weight in that process. Through this diet, ketogenic diet, I did not take into account fasting at all. Fasting is something that I do nowadays where I restrain from food for a good bit of the day and then I eat it all up in like this short time span, which kind of helps me maintain my low calories if I need to lose the weight, because I am someone who puts on weight very quickly in all the wrong aspects, which is primarily fat. And what the ketogenic diet did for me was that it kind of induced a sense of fullness for the first time without actually eating food, which was unheard of for me. For someone like me, I see food, I get hungry, right? This was the first time in my life. And mind you, I'm humongous. I'm a humongous person at this point. And for the first time in my life, I hadn't had food and I don't feel hungry. So, and the reason for that was that the ketogenic diet kind of altered my ghrelin levels in my blood, which is the main hunger hormone of the body. And it reduced it in my fasted state where I literally could not get myself to eat any more calories. It got bad to the point where my mom would make me an omelet, because eggs are a good source of fat and protein and very low carbs, 0 carbs to be exact. And I could not eat an omelet for the life of me, and the day's just begun. And I continued this extreme diet for about a month, and I see results. And I make that correlation in my mind that the more extremities you take something to, the faster you get the results. And I forgot, around this time, I completely forgot that when this is the scenario, you kind of have to play around with the timings of these types of diets. Because think about this. When there is a bodybuilder and he's trying to lose as much water, as much weight as possible, and try to shred down, it is only in that last 1 or 2 weeks where the diet becomes extreme to the point where it's actually fatal to your health. My dumbass forgot about that. I continued this process for about a couple months, and I became a mess in a new way, in a brand new way. I became extremely skinny, which is not something I was particularly proud of, but where I'm from, if you're skinny, you're fit. That's what fit means over there. And if you're healthy, that means you're fat. That's the harsh reality for anyone who's living in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. That's what it means. And with these quick results, I realized something for myself, that it is very much possible to make a transformation of myself. I am literally able to change the shape of my body very, very quickly because of how dedicated I am to my extreme diets. And I kind of started using that to my advantage because if that is something that's for me, right? Because I'm just a hardcore G like that, I sort of used it in timely alternative manners. What that means is I would go into phases of bulking and cutting from time to time, and I would start to see the most insane results that, in my own opinion, self-claimed, guys, self-claimed, I have ever seen. I do not believe that there has been a better transformation than my own ever, ever. And that is only attributed to my dedication to my diets, the extremities of my diets, and my knowledge of cycling on and off these diets. And this information is too good to be gatekept because the proof is right in front of you. You clicked on this because the thumbnail literally showed a fat fuck going to transform into somewhat good looking guy, I would say. And the results are right in front of you. And I'm now, through this YouTube video and this channel and multiple series of videos, going to tell you of how exactly I did it, right? Obviously, I'm not able to encompass all of it into one video. So I will be making multiple videos encompassing different aspects of it. And we'll see how it goes. But what I realized was fast changes equals fast results. After I became super skinny, it was time for me to start college. And this was the first time I was coming into America. And I've always lived with the Indian perception that skinny equals fit. When you step foot into America, you realize how wrong you were. Skinny means weak. That is to everyone who's watching this video who does not live in the West. Skinny equals weak. And I guess the Indian aunties and the households kind of skew your perception of what it means to be skinny when I guess to reward laziness. Because think about this. Both obesity and skinniness are kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Let's say this is extremely skinny, this is extremely obese, and the perfect fit physique is somewhere over here, right? These two are actually more similar than you would think, but it's just the main difference is what did you choose as your coping mechanism, right? When you're super skinny, you are lazy. And when you're super obese, you're still very lazy. You two are the same people, just in different boats, right? You're ending up on the same destination. The obese person cannot control how much he eats. He lacks control over the amount he eats. Whereas the skinny person, he lacks the discipline to stick to eating how much he eats, or how much he should eat, actually. That is the main difference. One is laziness with the goal, and one is laziness within himself. And I think that's the best way you can put it. And the thing is, I've seen both sides of this journey. I've been super obese, I've been super skinny. I'm gonna tell you, I did not feel a single bit different when I was super skinny. I promise you that much. So what did I change, right? Because obviously I look very different. I can pull up pictures. Obviously I look very different from how I used to look back in the day when I was skinny, when I first came to America. The main difference is to accept that you need to work with what you're given. That is the single most important, valuable lesson that I can give to you right now as a person who's made this transformation for himself. And what that means is I am blessed with certain genetics, right? I am blessed with a certain body type, and I'm gonna make the best of it. Because at the end of the day, it only matters if you make the best of what you're given. I'm not telling anyone here to start taking steroids and harm themselves in any way, because that is the easy way out for all of you over there. And trust me, people will be able to tell. The way I changed it was I sort of started making micro changes in my life. I realized that I can stick with an extreme diet, no matter how extreme it is, and stick with it. And I can go into these phases of bulking and cutting until I sort of end up at this middle line. If this is super obese, if this is super skinny, and I start over here, I can go down there and then back up, then go down, then back up, then go down. If this is the ideal physique, I can sort of come to that line over a given shorter period of time and achieve my goal. That is what I stuck to. So I started making micro changes into my life. I started to incorporate a lot of weight training. It's only in 2021 when I started weightlifting, and it's only in 2022 when I started taking it very, very seriously. And this has pretty much been my story. And now I'm going to tell you, and it took me, and it took me about 3 years to achieve what I've achieved till now, where I am still trying to achieve that ideal physique. I'm obviously not very satisfied with the way I look, but I've definitely achieved a good bit of success in the way I look. I run an online coaching program. There will be a link to sign up in my bio, right? We have trained over 100 individuals up until this point, right? And obviously, like, it's a business and I'm trying to grow it. And this is something I'm very, very passionate about because I've seen what this fitness game can do for you. What did it do for me? I want to tell you how my life looked before 2020. I would go to school. I would wake up. My mom would wake me up, actually. I would wake up. I would go to school. I would hang out with people whose goals kind of did not align with mine. And I know some people would be watching this video, and I don't want you to feel offended because you are actually one of the reasons that I was able to realize that. Maybe I'm the idiot, Maybe I am the idiot, but I was just different, right? And because of this, I was able to realize what I wanted and didn't want in life. I would go to school, I would hang out with people I didn't really want to hang out with. I would end school, we would go out to drink. It was always happy hours around 4 p.m. For anyone watching this video who's from my school, you would know this. Go out to drink, eat a lot of food, junk food. We went to Chili's. There's actually a Chili's in India. Most of you would be surprised by that. I was very surprised by that Americans didn't know that Chili's was a thing outside of America. We'd go to Chili's, we'd drink, and we'd eat. And after that, I would go home. And I would fear talking to my dad when I went home. Because obviously I've not adhered to the principles he's taught me. Obviously, I've fallen into a lot of bad habits by my own accord. No one really pushed me towards it. I kind of saw it for myself. I would not blame anyone else for it but myself. And I would study for my classes. And I would play video games at night, and I would go to sleep. That is how my life looked like. There was not a single bit of physical activity I did. It was always encouraged to me by my parents. I never, ever, ever took it seriously. And I think it's a blessing in disguise because now I'm able to realize that on my own accord, on my own soil, and I'm able to realize the value of it more than anything else. Now there's a single most thing. I have my habit tracker right over here. the gym is number one. The gym is something now I prioritize a lot because I've realized how life without it looked like. And it's not just being a gym, bro. It's about what comes with it, right? It's about the discipline that comes with it. If you're bad in one aspect of your life, it's gonna carry over to other aspects of your life. Me being undisciplined about something, that might be my online coaching business. It's not that big of a business right now, but hopefully, if God wills so, it will be a very huge business, and I'll be able to change a lot of lives with it as I intend to. But if I'm undisciplined with the gym, which has literally got me to this point where I'm able to literally coach other people on how to get their ideal physiques or how to at least make the best transformation they could for themselves. I'm not trying to coach bodybuilders here. I'm trying to coach the average guy to look better. That's my goal. And that's a very valid goal to have because now in this generation, people are kind of demonized for trying to improve themselves, which is kind of sad to see because I kind of went through it firsthand. When I first made my transformation, I kind of was demonized in the way where instantly people switched up. The same people who said, work on yourself, this, that, switched up into saying, okay, don't let your ego get off the roof or something, right? Oh, don't get too prideful. Oh, you're not all that. And try to humble me all the time, bro, I'm telling you, I've been humbled my entire life, okay? Been humbled my entire life. This is the one time where I need to kind of live it up. And it kind of hindered my perception of myself where I kind of felt inadequate all the time because that's what something like this does. It makes you feel inadequate at whatever. I know my pronunciation of inadequate is kind of bad, but bear with me. But this is what it does. It makes you feel inadequate, and it kind of pushes you to the dark side, and where you're never ever really satisfied with yourself, which I'm kind of happy for. I'm very, very happy for that people did that because now I'm able to improve myself into the best version of myself. I have the unlimited motivation and the discipline to continue this journey forever. No matter if I see results today, tomorrow, I get fat tomorrow, I get obese tomorrow, I know a way back. And that is something I aim to coach into my clients. And that is something I pride myself on. But anyways, this is not meant to be a sales pitch. What I'm trying to say is that this whole journey has transformed me and my life in ways you cannot imagine. And I would really love for you to see the benefits of that transition into my life. I'm currently a student in the University of North Carolina, and I'm my last year of college, and school has been really tough, especially with fasting during Ramadan. I know I did promise that I'm gonna be making a daily Ramadan series, right? Where how fasting is, etc. The problem with that is that after day 2, I kind of found myself at a loss for stuff to say, because there's not really much I can say every single day, but I think that is me coping. And I take full accountability for that, and I will try my best to make valuable long lessons as often as I can. So I'm very excited for you to dive into this journey with me, and I will definitely be telling all my methods and my routines in future videos. And please subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and hopefully I gave you something to think about today. Good night.